Let's talk weeds for a minute. Do you ever feel like no matter what you do, the weeds just keep coming back? I'm going to show you a few of the most common weeds we see here in Minnesota and discuss how we actually treat them. A lot of people feel like they're constantly fighting weeds, and there are two main reasons for that. First, the long conditions make it easy for weeds to move in. Second, not all weeds can be treated the same way. So before we review specific weeds, the foundation matters. Mowing at the right height, watering consistently, and seeding thin areas all go a long way to preventing weeds from getting established. Now let's look at a few of the most common weeds. First up is crabgrass. You'll usually see this along sidewalks, driveways, or areas that get hot and dry. It grows low and spreads out, typically showing up between late June and August. The challenge with crabgrass is once you see it, it's difficult to control. The hairy leaf structure makes it hard for treatments to be effective. So the key here is prevention. Treating the soil in the spring stops crabgrass before it ever shows up. Next, let's talk about dandelions. Most people recognize the yellow flower, but what many don't realize is dandelions actually start growing the previous fall. That's why fall is the best time to treat them. You're stopping them before they develop a strong root system or go to seed. You can treat dandelions in the spring, but if that's the only time you're treating them, some dandelions will go to seed and the cycle will continue. Another common one we see is creeping Charlie. We see this in shady and moist areas. It spreads out low along the ground and roots as it grows. These conditions make it difficult to control. Usually one treatment is not enough to fully eliminate creeping Charlie. Multiple treatments help, and fall is again the most effective time to target creeping Charlie. There are plenty of other weeds you'll see throughout the season. Knotweed tends to show up in the spring, while spurge shows up in the summer, both of these showing up in compacted areas near sidewalks and driveways. You'll also see things like broadleaf plantain, clover, and wild violets depending on the conditions in your lawn. At the end of the day, every weed shows up for a reason. It could be the soil conditions, moisture, sunlight, or simply the time of year. And each weed has a slightly different approach when it comes to control. As a homeowner, the biggest impact you can have comes from creating good growing conditions. Mow high, water consistently, and keep your lawn dense. As professionals, we work hard to identify the specific weeds present, treat them appropriately, and make recommendations to prevent them long term. If you have questions about what you're seeing in your lawn, feel free to reach out. We're always happy to help.